everyone, Michael from Teams by Design. We've just recently launched our after-hour phone service. What that means for you is we can now answer your phone calls from 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and all day Saturday and Sunday. We can help you with inquiries such as property inquiry, leasing inquiry, maintenance support, and new business inquiries. So please make sure you head to teamsbydesign.com, leave your information, we'll arrange a Zoom and catch up and show you how we can help you through this.
Hi everyone, it's Deniz and Darren, and we are from Inspired Growth Training, and today we have a special guest. We have Nick Giles from Coronis Now, and we are doing the Grow 100 Challenge that, that Darren, actually you came up with this, Darren. It's all your idea about how we put this together, and you thought it was a great idea to put into a podcast show as well. So why don't you explain a little bit about it, and then we can introduce good old Nick into the team.
Thank you, Deniz. So just before I do, we have got something amazing to show. Now, for the people listening to the podcast, I'm going to explain, we have our very first book that is about to be released. Now, the thing about this book, this is a PM lead secret. This is, Deniz, this is your 40 ways to grow a rent roll without relying on a sales team, without relying on SEO, and without relying on expensive pay-per-click ads. And we are going to make this book for free. We're taking pre-launch orders at the moment. All you have to do is just go to PM Expert, I'm going to say this again, pmgrowthexperts.com. That's pmgrowthexperts.com, where you can get your book. It's just $9.97 just to cover the shipping. We'll get it out to you for free. It will be in your hand in June. So we're going to come up with a very special gift for you as well to give you some incentive to get it out. Now, the funny thing about this book, you're thinking, well, why can't I have that one? Well, this is actually a prop that's just been made, so I can show you that it's actually a book, but it looks good, doesn't it? So, all right, let's move on.
The truth behind it, if you are a true-hearted BDM, you'll see the writing.
Yeah,
okay?
or ultraviolet light, if you had a look at it there. Let's move on. So, okay, so with the Grow 100 Challenge, it's very simple, and it came from the idea of Bear Grylls. You know, that guy that you see on the survival programs on TV, he's an ex-commando and he flies in, or they drop him in by parachute into a desert or into a snow country or into some tropical island where normally you can't survive if there's no, supermarkets nearby. But he has his knife and he has his knowledge, and using that knowledge within 24 hours, he gets out to safety. Now, the same thing with the Grow 100 Challenge is that we've got growth experts, like we've got Nick Giles with us today, and Nick is a growth expert, and he's going to be given a scenario that if he suddenly grows at 0 properties and he has to get up to 100 doors or properties in the next 12 months with 0 to minimal budget. So, for example, he's only got a knife, he hasn't got the proper tools. With his knowledge that he knows now, what would be the 3 strategies that he was use? Now, Nick, I'm going to give it over to you. I like these 3 strategies because they're unique and they are very simple and easy to understand. Over to you, Nick.
Yeah, I was I took also the mindset that we didn't use tech, and we were staying away a little bit from the digital side of things, because mainly I wanted to look at the idea, well, if you didn't go in the social direction or the digital direction, that you would have some really good tools to engage with outside of that. So it was a case of looking at, well, what can I do if I have pretty much nothing except the people I know and where I live, basically, to start my business. And the first one I wanted to, I guess, look at a little bit is the same one that Coronis Now, and we help our partners that are all starting businesses themselves from naught, essentially. It's a big focus of our organization to help them get that first management, get that second, get that third, get that fourth, and get that momentum going. And typically the first one that anyone will sign is someone that they know already, So the first strategy is about looking at the first 100 contacts you can write to begin your database, which typically comes from the list of contacts you have on your phone. Or if we're looking at pre-tech days, the stuff that you have written in your address book, your friends, your family, your brother-in-law, your best mate from high school. all these things are really useful people to speak to. And the great thing is, when you if you're a person perhaps that hasn't grown a business before or isn't familiar with prospecting, it's a great way to get in the rhythm of speaking to people and saying, hi, my name's Nick. Guess what? I've started a property management business recently, and I just wanted to let you know. And you'd be alarmed at the number of your family and friends that have little to no idea about what you do for a living. So people don't always think about this as a strategy just at first. It sometimes seems as though it's it's obvious, or my brother knows what I do. Or it's, as we say to our partners all the time at Coronis Now, that you don't know who knows what you do every day for a living. So tell them, ring them up and tell them. And that's the first thing we have our guys do, and a really effective way, particularly of getting from sort of 1 to 5 managements, you might find really quickly, is that someone will say, oh, Nick, you're doing it. Oh, fantastic. And they're looking for the opportunity to get away from where they are to kickstart you, because they're on your team. It's not a case of, them being cold calls or being difficult conversations. It's just, hi, I'm doing this. I don't know how much you know about this. Can I tell you a bit about it? And your brother-in-law and your mates are all like, awesome, tell me what you're doing. That sounds exciting. And they're really the best sorts of calls to be performing early on in your business, to get you excited about it, get other people excited about it, and start enjoying what you're doing a bit, and do some of that cool real estate stuff. So
can I just jump in here, and just for the benefit of our audience, Nick is part of a group called Coronis Now, where you give a really good bridge opportunity for all those property managers out there that are stuck in a job. They're really deep down would like to start their own business, but can't because of, money issues or lack of support issues, or even mindset issues, where they don't realize they can actually start their own business from home with all the support they need around them. And of course, Nick is part of Coronis Now. Nick is actually heading up the team in New South Wales. Nick, it's funny that your strategy there, of course, that's a very common one, that when a new real estate salesperson starts, that is, usually one of the strategies that they start with. And if it works for real estate in listing homes for sale, why wouldn't it work for listing homes for property management? And one final thing, it's also the same strategy. Deniz, if you remember in your days when you did Amway so many years ago, one of the first things that we had to do, and Nick, you're back on your side again, but one of the first things that you had to do was to ring all your friends and tell them about these money-making opportunities that you got. Do you remember those days, Deniz?
Well, Darren, any business, the first thing people do is exactly what Nick said. They get on the phone and they start calling people. And if they like you, if they know you, they're in your phone, right? They're going to be, it's instant top of mind. So they want to help you. It's like any strategy. If you ring an accountant and said, I want you to refer business to me, they don't know you, they don't like you, it's someone new. So it's not the right approach. But if you're ringing an accountant and asking them about their business, have they got experience in property management? Can you tell me about your service? All of a sudden they feel like you're helping them. So then they like you and they will trust you, etc. So Nick is calling trusted people in his phone, getting on the phone and making calls. And on this, Darren, let me add, so yes, Amway, I did it, and every other sales thing I was doing, I was letting everyone know. And I had no Facebook to tell everyone I was on Amway either. But what Nick's done, I think it's gold, right? People get on the phone, they tell every single person. But what tends to happen is they start, as the business grows, they start to get busy, and then they forget to get on the phone and start calling people, because business takes over, routines, ingoings, outgoings, leasing, accounting with the business, etc. If they keep this as a tool and keep going back and making these calls, they will continue to have success with the contacts in their phones.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And I remember, Deniz, there was a time after our conference in 2019, you said, Darren, get on the phone and call everyone. And I did. And out of that, I got quite a lot of business just by talking people. And here's the key. You call people that already know you, that already warm to you. And then a conversation will start up so much quicker. It's just when you're calling people completely cold that don't know you, that it's hard. So what a great way to get momentum going. And if they know what you do, they're going to, if they see an opportunity come up in Facebook, someone says, hey, look, I'm looking for a good property manager at the moment. They're okay, I know someone. And then you get those referrals there. So you're getting that network out there working for you. Well done, Nick.
Cool. It's awesome. I think it's great.
Nick's on mute. Is that the one line of 2000 and in COVID is you're on mute?
Sorry, guys. Sit down in there for a minute. No, it's a huge thing, and for a lot of our property managers that have never done anything like this before at all, it's one thing to be sort of a BDM, and I've spent years making calls and doing that sort of stuff, but a lot of our guys, particularly in our group, it start off having never done this before, and the coolest thing is, well, it's not a scary thing to do because you just talk to your mates, and it's a joy to do it, and to scroll to the bottom of your phone, at the bottom of your contact list, there might be 1,000 people there. And it's like, great, just get on the phone. You know them all. It'd be great, and it's a really enjoyable thing to do as well, and a soft entry into what can be for a lot of people a scary place to be, I guess, starting a business. But it doesn't have to be. It can just be a really enjoyable thing to get excited about. So, yeah.
I mean, what's really interesting on this tactic is you don't put someone in your phone if you don't like them. So these are people that, these are people that you've actually got some form of a relationship or friendship with, right? So that you've had a connection. You've got permission to call them. You've got their details. Pick up the phone and call them, and just say hello. And natural progress will happen as well. So I think it's a great tactic. I think it's a smart one, and I would certainly be blocking out some time for anyone that's listening to reconnect and get through their phone list and just call them and say hello. 2021 is a year of connect. We all got so disconnected last year, so let's reach out and do it. A great strategy, Nick. Well done.
And making those contacts, a big part of growth with any business, particularly with business development in property management, is about momentum and being able to build momentum through phone calls, momentum through a little bit of success. And what you find is when you're building your first 100 or you're building a business, each little success is like a shot in the arm, and it springs you forward to the next one. And being able to sort of build momentum across that is what gets you going to a large degree. So it's a really useful thing to start with. The second strategy I wanted to, should we move on to the second one?
Yep, go for it.
Yep. So the second one I was mindful of, for me, I've moved into a sort of a new suburb in Southwest Sydney, right? And it's developing, the community is kind of developing. But a lot of this sort of growth stuff is about, it's like what you would do anytime in making friends and being a part of a community, which is looking for really meaningful, influential community groups that you might be a part of. An example of this is Clean Up Australia Day is coming up on Sunday. There's a whole range of little cleanup groups going on around my suburb, and what better way to get to know the sort of people who start these communities and want to have their voices heard, because those sorts of people are the people who speak to lots of other people. So when you talk about spheres of influence, which is a really common phrase in our industry and in selling generally, it's about discovering the people and the events in your community that are really critical to businesses, to people who own properties, people who own investment properties. For people, we've got regional partners, for instance, where agriculture is a big deal. There's farming communities. People want to get involved with that. Rotary clubs are really important. So those little groups, you get to know who these people are that like to be involved with other people. And when you can get in their ear and just tell them, hey, I'm Nick, I've just moved here, or I've been here for a while and we haven't met each other, and I've just started a business. I'm really keen for you to know what I can do for you. And if you get them excited, they'll get another 20 people excited. And you'll get to have some influence and some influence over those little community groups. And it's a really great way to, COVID's been a bit of an impediment to this, but Clean Up Australia Day and being involved with that's a classic, easy couple of hours of doing something in the community. People get to know you personally, authentically, and you go from calling people on your phone contact list to getting to know new people in a really soft, easy, pleasant way, in a relatable way that's got nothing to do with you saying, hey, let me sign your property. It's just about, hi, I'm Nick. I'm someone who can be trusted. I'm someone we can be mates, and I can do these things for you to help you with what you're doing. You start to build those relationships in your community and go outwards from there. So I think community groups and events, Facebook's a great avenue for that, actually, if you're looking at community groups as well. But understanding what your community sort of coalesces around and what they get behind is really, really important to know and to be a part of, and it's great on several fronts, not just growing your business. It's great personally. It's great for your family. I know for my family here, we want to, we've got kids on our street that my son's going to grow up with over the next how many years. And it's a really wholesome, pleasant way to, grow your business in a community-minded way.
Yep. Yeah, and you mentioned, the communities. They obviously have community Facebook groups as well, Nick, and no doubt that your area, for you doing it over the weekend, they may even have an event, like a Facebook event. So the great thing about Facebook events is get involved with it. So I don't know what you're doing and if you are or not, but I'd be in there commenting, hey guys, I'm certainly going to be there, looking forward to meeting new people. I'm if I'm new to the area or I'm a startup, whatever, just drop it in, and then buy comment on all the other comments, like everyone else's comments, so your name becomes like top of mind, so that by the time you're there, everyone's going, oh, you're Nick. You're already familiar with them and you're already trusting with them. And what's great about a Facebook event group is it's not like a page. Comments and stuff don't get lost. Everyone who's been invited to that event will get the notification that there's a new comment or a new post. So they're quite powerful.
And you tend to see in those groups too, who are the people that keep talking, and you sort of think, well, there's someone I want to shake hands with or, say hi to once I'm there. So you sort of get to understand a little bit about the dynamic of your location. And for me, there's actually a Clear Australia group, which is kind of a subset of the Indian community in my suburb, of which there's a lot. I'm a cricketer. Doesn't take much for me to have a good yak with my Indian community, I can tell you. So like things like that are really great connecting points for me and for my group and my immediate neighbours that I've already reached out to and stuff like that. So it's all those things are really critical, Deniz. And I think if you think, well, I've spoken to all my mates and my friends, I'm now making new friends in my community. Without even talking about what you do for a living, you're already getting people and building people that are looking to you and saying, well, this is a person who is getting involved, is being generous with their time. Because really what we advocate for all of our guys, when we talk about business development every single week, it's about what can I do to help you do what you want to do? How can I be generous how can I build your business? How can what do you do? How can I make your life easier? And then you become someone who's giving of themselves all the time. And it becomes a really great launching point to help people, which is what we do for a living in real estate. We help people, we solve problems. So becoming someone who solves problems and who generously gives of their time and expertise is a really easy and wonderful thing to do anyway. And to do it in those community groups is really advantageous.
Deniz, if I can just jump in here, I think you've got a great analogy on Tim the Toolman. Do you remember that one?
I do have a great analogy on Tim the Toolman, and look at Dennis the Menace is the same as well, right? There's a Mr. Wilson in every single street, in every single community. There's some form of an influencer that knows everything that's going on. So Tim the Toolman at the end of every single show, Tim Brooke Taylor is standing in the backyard and he's talking to Mr. Wilson, right? And Mr. Wilson's telling him everything that's going on in the street or life or whatever. So every single community has got a Mr. Wilson. And Nick, you were saying in the groups, you tend to see who's commenting the most and inputting the most. They're all the Mr. Wilsons. You need to meet the Mr. Wilson of your community. They're all influencers. Every single business owner is an influencer. I like to think the baristas are, and that's why I have to go buy coffee all the time.
Hi everyone, Michael from Teams by Design. We've just recently launched our after-hour phone service. What that means for you is we can now answer your phone calls from 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and all day Saturday and Sunday. We can help you with inquiries such as property inquiry, leasing inquiry, maintenance support, and new business inquiries. So please make sure you head to teamsbydesign.com, leave your information, we'll arrange a Zoom and catch up and show you how we can help you through this.
I think that's just your excuse to have coffee.
One thing we found in Coronis Now.
You don't find a good barista in America.
All I can say is I know Coronis Now do this because the Western Australia Coronis Now team, they actually went out, they had espresso martinis, and they tagged me in their post to let me know that they were networking over coffee, and I thought that was gold.
Yeah, they love it over there. The Western Australian mob, they've get good fees over there too. Those WA mob, whew, how good is that?
Nick, they're normal fees because yours are too cheap. All right, put it that way, okay? You guys just don't understand
the entire eastern half of the country.
What a real fee structure is all about. WA people just woke up one day and thought, yeah, we're worth our fees, and no one else has worked it out yet. That's all.
That's that's true, 100%.
Look at it on the other side, mate. WA is anyone that's serious.
Oh yeah, I can tell you the Coronis Now model works very well over there. The guys are going great. It's a really good community over there as well. But you're right, Dennis. And the coffee is a great thing. Like train stations, particularly, like you get cafes near train stations where every trade and every professional grabs a bacon egg roll and a coffee as they get pop onto the train. Yep. Every single person who lives in a suburb kind of goes through this one gateway. So there are lots of suburbs where that's a really relevant thing. And if you sort of just get to know those people, those cafe owners are brilliant. Baristas are brilliant for this sort of thing. Yeah. I know there's a charcoal chicken place back where I used to know what I did, and where I used to do a lot of BDM work years ago, and like all those things are really critical. So just getting an understanding of the dynamic in your suburb is really great, and being a part of it. And our CMPs, our Coronis Now partners, have been really successful. A lot of them have been able to simply just tap into the vein of their communities and get involved in small ways. And all of a sudden, people are noticing them, in ways that they aren't noticing other businesses because, they're competing with 30 or 40 other agents, who are also might be 10 times bigger and doing their own thing. But what they forget about often those businesses is they throw a lot of marketing money around, but they don't necessarily get involved with those critical sort of arteries of the community in the way that a smaller business can. So it's been that's a useful way when you think about 0 to 100, you've got time to invest in those arteries of the community, and that's something to get involved with for sure.
Yeah. They said like also, go to the fairs and the fetes and the local community markets and things like that, and get yourself a little marquee, with your brand on it, and serve up your sausages and all of that, and just get connecting, So, well done, Nick. Let's move on to strategy number 3.
Yeah, the third one, as an extension on the local community as well. Now, I mentioned before, I'm in a newish suburb, lots of houses. We were the first house to be built on our street. So all this construction is going on around us and expanding out further. I can stand in my backyard and watch all these houses being built. Now, and one of the key things about that is you're welcoming people into the community, and there's new people moving in, and they're sort of looking to make connections with other people because for me, and this is not, I guess I'm talking about my area here, but every area has got an element of this, where you're watching people move in. And one of the things that we encourage our guys to do is we have a lovely sort of letter that you can write, basically introducing yourself and your family, and being able to knock on, really looking at the surrounding sort of 200 to 500 kind of doors, depending on the sort of community you live in, and doing a very specific type of letterbox drop, which is just an authentic letter to introduce, saying basically, hi, my name's Nick. You might have seen me walk my 2 dogs, Denny and Finn, with my young son, Oliver, strapped to my chest. This is what I do for a living, and I'm welcome to the community, rather. It's great to have you. I'd love to help you, any way that I can. I happen to run a property management business. If you're a broker or an accountant or an electrician or a plumber, or if you know anyone, I'd love to be able to connect with those people and help you as much as I can as well. Love to catch up for a coffee and maybe slip in some details of your local cafe we're just talking about, and just putting it in the form of a letter, so that if you're moving around your community and signing it by hand and writing on the envelope by hand as well, and sort of addressing it as accurate as you can. And making sure that if you're knocking on a door and just sort of saying, hi, I'm your neighbor, if they aren't there, slipping it in the letterbox as well, or hand delivering it. Yeah. So just wanted to say who we were, and being so that, Nick, one of the things that I've done since I've moved in here is that I have a fairly small front yard, right? And the surrounding 10 houses and I have fairly small front yards, but they've all got lawns. I mow my front lawn and I mow everybody else's at the same time, right? And when I first came here, because it just takes 5 minutes for me to, mow my front lawn. And I thought, and people sort of wander out and they go, what's going on here? And I say, oh, hi, I'm just from number 37 down the road here. And I'm Nick, and I just want to say hi. And, they're like, do I have to pay you or something? I think I'm from council. But it's like, no, I just want to help them out. And it's just part of I want to do it anyway. I'm not doing it for my business. I want to do it because I want people to look at me as a neighbor and say,
you're just a nice guy.
I'm just being a nice guy. And it's like, and that's the beginning of how to form those relationships, basically. And on the back of having delivered those letters, so they might already know that I'm Nick from number 37 who runs a property management company. He also mows my front lawn. What a nice guy. Such and such brought up, I've got property down the road, and maybe Nick will be able to tell me about this. I usually put in that letter as well, anything you want to talk about with property, talk to me. I don't care what it is. I'll be able to help. So don't necessarily limit yourself, because you want to be in those discussions around property in your local community and be known as the guy at the local barbecue that can talk with authority about these things. So it's about being a really pleasant neighbor, which is, again, stuff you want to do anyway in a community, But if you're going to go from 0 to 100 in a quick time, you want to do it from a position of trust. You want to be able to build landlords that go, this person not just knows what they're talking about, but is prepared to put in the time and the knowledge and the effort to make my life easier. So you're thinking about the quality of the rent roll the first 100 too, not just getting there. And that's all about the quality of the relationship and the quality of that trust building you can build. And, trust is made up of empathy, authenticity, and great solutions. So if you start with being empathetic towards what someone's needs are in the community that's right near you, and you're doing it authentically, which, of course, I want to mow their lawns because I know it's a painful job in summer because the lawn jumps up every 4 days, And these guys have got families as well. If I'm doing that, if I can help them out, I will, So all those things together with that letterbox drop, it's about, bringing those tactics together and understanding, well, this is a person in our community who knows stuff, who can help me with things, and is building a property management business, So it's a way of I think all three of those strategies, if you're using them all together, they should give you a strong network of people that trust you in a fairly quick amount of time as well, and start talking to you as the guy who knows about property management.
Yeah, look, Nick, amazing tips. And if I can just add one little component to that, if you've got strategic alliances, you should be actually adding them into it, maybe even getting some gift vouchers from them, welcoming people to communities as well. An agency I was training in Rockhampton, they did this. So they got together with their strategic alliances whenever a new person, so the conveyancer that was part of the group, what they did is they'd say, okay, here's 10 properties that have just settled over the last X amount of days. They put them a personalised letter, similar to what you're saying. It wasn't hand-delivered, but there might have been like a 10% discount at the hardware, a coffee voucher, a pizza voucher, etc. And the real estate agent was added in there as well. So it was like a community coming together doing it. I like what you're doing. I think it's great. It's extra value for you because you're actually in the street. You're actually there. You're meeting the people individually. You're creating a community around you. Mate, I do recommend getting the Coronis Now logo. Maybe get that stuck on the side of your John Deere, if you've got a John Deere, or your
That's a good point. I haven't thought about that. I should put it on my letterbox, actually.
Mate,
that should be the thing I should be doing.
Paint it black.
Black and yellow. Yeah, 100% right. It's not really big enough. But I sort of was thinking about extending that. Look, I've got the luxury that I can do that in a sense, but it's the same thing works. I was talking to the partners in the group the other day about it's the same thing if you're in an apartment building in the middle of the city. Then it's even better because you've got 100 people that live exactly like you do in units like that. Quite often you're equipped with, there's a ton of events that just revolve around your building. A lot of the time, I know a bunch of buildings who have barbecues, once a month on the rooftop or in the common area. So your neighbor, like there's a bunch of neighbors who want to get to know you. Like it's not much of a stretch to get involved with what's going on in the building. And so if anything, if you're in a strata building of any kind, it's even easier to get to build those relationships and form them too. But we sort of, try to encourage all of our partners that are just embarking on this journey to make it about hyper local, make it about those contacts you have, the new ones you can build, the groups you can be a part of. And if there isn't one, start one.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a really good opportunity for you to get to know people really well. And that can be for a lot of people a bit of a scary thing. They don't necessarily, particularly property managers that are starting a business, they might be a little bit scary in the sense that they haven't done this sort of thing before. But it's very quickly melts away when you start realizing that people really crave those kinds of relationships, and they're keen to know people they can trust, and all you have to do is give a little bit to show that you can be trusted and you can be someone leaned upon. And your core values are strong, and they'll come with you, all the way. And we've certainly discovered that in lots and lots of ways over the last couple of years, for sure.
Cool.
Oh, it's excellent.
All right, guys, let's start wrapping things up. And thank you so much, Nick. You got some really good stuff there, and it's all about being focused on your postcode or a couple of postcodes, or for our Americans, our zip code, and becoming experts in that area and collecting raving fans and people that have the power to bring us business and refer us business. So really good. You've met the challenge really well, Nick, and we just love your what you guys are doing at Coronis Now. You're providing such a bridge for those quality property managers out there are sick and tired of working for someone else's bottom line. They know they can do it themselves. Just a few blockages there. If anyone wants to, think about looking at Coronis Now, what's the best way to get in contact?
Oh, just call me directly, 0400 225 246. Just talk to me. I'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, what's your email?
Nick.Giles, nick.giles at coronis.com.au. Cool,
nice and easy. So thanks, Deniz. I think that's a really good episode to put to play. Thank you so much, Nick, for your time. You're such a great guy. You're such a valuable part of the IGT Inner Circle community. This is a reminder, everybody, if you haven't joined our IGT Inner Circle community, just go to our IGT Inspired Growth Training Facebook page. Click on join group. There are 3 questions you need to answer. Otherwise, we're not able to let you win. We're very careful, protective about our group culture. We're very, we really resist negativity. We want positive, motivated people focused on growth. Come and join us. Answer the 3 questions. And don't forget, go and get your pre-order. We've got a special gift there waiting for you. It's just $9.97. You're just paying for shipping. We'll get you our book on 40 ways to grow your rent roll without relying on salespeople, without SEO, and without expensive pay-per-click ads. Just go to pmgrowthexperts.com. That's pmgrowthexperts.com, $9.97 for shipping. We'll get it out to you for free, no matter where you are on the planet, and June will have them available. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you all next time.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, guys.